Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am honestly so thrilled you're here today because we're going to tackle something that, well, frankly, almost every business owner or creator gets wrong right out of the gate. So, picture this. You get a gorgeous logo designed, you slap it on your website, and you think, awesome, job done, brand sorted, let's move on to the next thing. Right? Well, actually, no. Relying on just a single solitary logo might secretly be holding your entire brand back. And today, we're going to explore exactly why that is, pulling some fantastic insights from 36 Visuals. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. 1. The one logo trap. 2. Meet the secondary logo. 3. The four-part logo system. 4. Designing your secondary logo. And finally, 5. The cost of inconsistency. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the one logo trap. Okay, be honest. Have you ever experienced the sheer pull-your-hair-out frustration of trying to squeeze your beautifully detailed, wide logo into a tiny Instagram profile picture? Or, oh man, maybe you tried to get it embroidered on a branded hoodie, and all those fine details just wouldn't translate, and you were left with this illegible, muddy blob. Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Believing that a brand identity begins and ends with just one single design file is a massive trap. The core issue here is actually pretty simple. Your primary logo, it's a total superstar when it has unlimited breathing room. Like sitting proudly at the very top of a wide website header. But when we try to force that exact same design into the super constrained space of a social media avatar, or a tiny mobile sticky nav bar, or a cramped email signature, it just completely fails. And look, it's not a flaw in your logo. It's just the reality of trying to make one single tool do every single job. Let's do a quick diagnostic. Are you currently trapped in the one logo myth? Well, you probably are if you find yourself constantly improvising, like stretching or awkwardly cropping your logo just to make it fit. Or maybe your logo is blurry and basically unreadable at small scales. Perhaps your branding looks kind of mismatched across different platforms. Or worse, you actually find yourself apologizing to people for how your logo looks on a specific document. Honestly, the biggest red flag of all, your entire brand identity lives in just one single PNG file on your desktop. So, how do we fix this? Let's move to section 2, meet the secondary logo. If any of those symptoms hit a little too close to home just now, don't sweat it. The secondary logo is your absolute cure. So, what is it? Simply put, it's a simplified or rearranged version of your main primary logo. Now, let me be super clear here. This is not a rebrand. You are not creating a totally different identity. A secondary logo preserves all the vital DNA of your brand. Your colors, your typography, the overall vibe, but it just strips away the complexity so it can actually perform beautifully in those tighter, more constrained spaces. Think of it like this. Your primary logo is your full outfit. It's the whole look, meticulously put together for maximum impact. Your secondary logo, it's the exact same person, the exact same style, just dressed appropriately for a different occasion. I mean, you wouldn't wear a full tuxedo to the gym, right? So you really shouldn't cram your massive, detailed primary logo onto a tiny little business card. Make sense? All right, let's keep moving. Section 3, the four-part logo system. Now that we know what a secondary logo is, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because a robust brand isn't just one logo. It's actually an entire ecosystem made up of 4 distinct variations. First up, you have your primary logo. This has full details, and it's best for large spaces like websites and physical signage. Second is a secondary logo. This is a simplified, often stacked version that becomes the absolute workhorse for things like business cards and merchandise. Third is the submark. This is just an icon or monogram, completely stripped down to its essence, perfect for social avatars and image watermarks. And finally, the favicon. This is an incredibly simple mark that absolutely has to remain recognizable at just 16 by 16 pixels for your browser tabs. You see? Each one has a very specific job to do. To really ground this, let's look at how the massive brands do it. Take Spotify, for example. Have you ever noticed how they use their full word mark and icon on their website, but they drop the text completely for their app icon? They just keep that iconic green circle with the sound waves. Airbnb does the exact same thing. They use their full BLO symbol right alongside their word mark for all their marketing, but they strip it down to just the symbol alone for their social profiles. It's brilliant because they maintain instant, split-second recognition without ever sacrificing clarity in tight spaces. Okay, moving right along to section 4, designing your secondary logo.
So how do we actually build this thing? It's a highly structured process, but it's totally doable. Step 1, identify your non-negotiables. What makes your logo yours? Is it a very specific shade of blue or a custom font? Find those key recognizable elements. Step 2, and you have to be ruthless here, remove what isn't essential. Taglines? Yeah, those are almost always the first thing to get the axe. Step 3 is reformatting the layout. So if your main logo is really horizontal, your secondary should probably be vertically stacked so it fits nicely into square spaces. And finally, step 4. This is literally the most important step. Test it in real contexts. Please don't just stare at it on a blank white screen. Drop it into a mock-up of a mobile website header or put it in a real email signature and see if it actually holds up. Now, while you're designing, you've got to watch out for a few critical errors. Number 1, never ever change your fonts or use non-matching colors in your secondary logo. Even super subtle changes will instantly break the connection between your logo versions and make them feel like completely separate brands. Also, be careful not to oversimplify to the point where the logo becomes completely unrecognizable. It needs to look clean, sure, but not invisible. And finally, don't treat this as an afterthought. It needs to be built into your system intentionally from day one, and always, always test it for both digital and print.
And that brings us to our final part today, Section 5, the cost of inconsistency. You might be wondering, okay, this is great design theory, but why does this actually matter for my bottom line? Well, here's the harsh truth. Inconsistency is one of the absolute quietest ways a brand erodes its own credibility. Think about it. When your brand looks mismatched, when the spacing is all weird, the text is illegible, and a logo changes subtly from your website to your Instagram, your customers feel it. They might not be able to articulate it, but it sends a really subtle signal that your business might be, a little unpolished or not fully established. And beyond just human perception, having a messy brand can literally act as a negative signal to search engines. Lack of authority often leads to higher bounce rates and reduced trust across the board. And if you want the hard data on this, it is absolutely staggering. According to research from Lucid Press, presenting your brand consistently across all platforms, which, remember, starts with having a systematic logo set up for every single context, can actually increase your revenue by an average of 23%. 23%! That is massive. So this isn't just about making things look pretty. This is about hard financial returns. It's about building lasting trust and showing up as a rock-solid, established business everywhere you appear. I want to wrap up our explainer today with a really powerful analogy. The original source material put it perfectly. A brand with only one logo is a bit like a builder who only owns one tool. I mean, sure, you might be able to take a hammer and eventually force it to do the job of a screwdriver, but you are making every single job so much harder than it needs to be, and honestly, the end results usually show it. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Are you going to keep forcing one tool to do every single job, or is it finally time to build a true professional logo system? Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. I really hope this completely changes how you view your brand's visual identity. Catch you next time.